city's plight. Shadows fall, dimming the light. Whispers grow, a rising tide. Vindicator, where do you hide? Fear is over, heart ablaze. Through smoky haze, he sets his gaze. Justice calls a burning need. A city's wounds he vows to heed. From cobbled streets to tower high, Vindicator takes to the sky. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Whispers turn to thunderous roar. As shadows creep, he slams the door on tyranny's cruel, grasping hand. He fights for freedom, takes a stand. With courage born of darkest night, he ignites hope, a guiding light. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Though battles rage and darkness reigns, hope's ember burns within his veins. He'll never yield, he'll never fall. He answers freedom's clarion call. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. A symbol etched against the moon. Vindicator rising soon.
Hello everybody, how you all doing? Thanks mate. How's the audio? I'm using a new microphone, so can you tell me how the audio is? Thank you. Is the audio okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Is it loud enough? Nice one. Yeah, new microphone. I'm just going to use those wireless ones for when I'm outside, because they are a bit echoey on when you use them inside. Right, so as you can see from the title, great. As you can see from the title of this stream, it's a little bit of an off-the-cuff one. Just gonna ask one question. Vin, hope you, Tom, is okay. Yeah, they're okay. Vin, I hope Tom is okay. Okay. Right, so as you can see from the title, I am an English nationalist, and there is nothing wrong in saying that. There's nothing racist about that or anything like that. I am an English nationalist. Nobody can tell me who I am or what I stand for. People have been trying lately in the comment sections of a particular video. We're going to go and look at that comment section in a bit. And what makes me laugh is you get these people coming out of the woodwork telling me how I should be and telling me that I'm a disgrace. And yet I'm probably betting that none of these people have actually got off their arse and actually really defended their country like I have. they call themselves, you know, nationalists, ethno-nationalists. And I'm going to say I'm only talking to a specific group. I'm talking to the extreme section of the ethno-nationalists, because they're the ones that have come out and tried to tell me who I am. And it's like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to tell me who I am. You prove who you are by what you say and what you do. And I just find them annoying. They are annoying. And I said this to the ethno-nationalists: you need to sort this group out. You need to sort the group out that is heavily into the Austrian painter and highly obsessed with the 1930s Germany. Because until you do that, your movement isn't going to be palatable at all to anybody. How are you doing? So we'll pull it up and we'll have a look at the just a few of the comments that I've been getting lately on that video. I think it's important that we actually we go look at it. I'm going to get it up on the screen. Actually, we'll have a look for it. So how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing great. I mean, it's only a few days into the new year. How's it all going for you? I hope it's going really well. Oh, they're still doing it. Faceless accounts of multiple people. Well, I'll show you what I mean. This is the bad element within the ethno-nationalist side of things. Get that off. I don't particularly want to play the video. I just want to know that's it. Just pause that. Right, he's at the top. It looks like the guy's been commenting quite a few of my posts. Majority of the posts on that video, I'll bring it up and I'll show you. Majority of the comments are positive on it. It's just a few. It's just a few that need to be addressed. If you've not seen this video, by the way, go and watch it. Is that sharing on there now? Let's have a look. Is it sharing? Here it is. Let's have a look. Right. I'm an American English nationalist because my history and constitution comes from the Magna Carta, and especially the 1688, 89 English Bill of Rights. Benjamin Franklin was born in Britain. Nothing wrong with that. Let's just get it out there, right? There's nothing wrong in wanting your country to be for your people. There's nothing wrong in saying that I want England for the English. There's nothing wrong in saying that at all. There's nothing racist or xenophobic about that whatsoever. Not at all. It's perfectly fine to say that. And I want to clear some things up as well before we go and look at these comments, right? Because some people have been making misconceptions about me. And this is what they do. They probably don't know anything about me. They've just seen this one particular video and made an assumption based on that video. All right, so let's clear some things up, because I've been accused of quite a lot. So my stance on immigration and illegal immigration: I don't think we should have any immigration whatsoever. I think it needs to be stopped completely. No immigration. No immigration whatsoever. Stick a battleship in the channel, turn the boats back, as far as I'm concerned, right? As far as people that won't integrate, deport them. Just deport them. They've got no business being in this country. If they don't want to embrace our culture, our traditions, and our way of life, they need to go. It's that simple. You don't come to this country and set up a colony within our country and expect to keep it. No other country in the world will tolerate it. Nobody else would tolerate that. Nobody. So, although I don't mind people coming here, so long as they integrate and accept our culture, but the fact of the matter is that's done now. I don't want anybody to come into the country now. I don't want anybody in the country, good or bad. I don't want anybody. We've got enough. Our infrastructure simply cannot cope with the people we have now. That's a fact. That's my stance on things. My issue with the ethno-nationalism side of things is when it comes to the people that are already here, people that have been here for generations, who have integrated and who they want to deport. they want to deport those people as well. They want to deport every single foreign person in the country, no matter whether they've integrated or not. I'm not talking about people coming into the country. I've already stated I want zero immigration. Full stop. No more immigration. Stop it dead. That's it. My issue with the ethno-nationalists is them wanting to deport people that are already here, that have already integrated. They want them gone. I agree with them. Get rid of everybody that hasn't integrated. Get rid of all the foreign nationals out of our prisons. Get rid of all the colonies. Birmingham, just deport them all, because it's like little Baghdad in Birmingham. Bradford, that there should be no city or town in England where the English are a minority. That shouldn't happen. That's proof that immigration has gone way too far. There shouldn't be a single city, town, village, hamlet where the English are a minority, because there's no other country in the world that would allow that to happen. Simple as that. That's my stance on things. And I don't see an issue with that. I really don't. I don't have a problem with anybody that has come to this country and integrated, that's already here, that is paying their taxes. Now, I will agree, even though they've been here for generations, they will never be ethnically English. They will never be ethnically British. You can't be. It's impossible, because the only people that can be British are the English, the Welsh, the Scots, and the Northern Irish. They're the only people that can be British. You can be a British citizen, but you can't be British. There are two very distinct things. You can hold a British passport and be a British citizen, but you will never be British. Just like you will never be English. Those are ethnic things. You have to be ethnically here. You have to be ethnically born here. Yeah. Does that sound okay? Is that a moderate? Is that a good stance to have? Because I think it is. Does that sound like a common sense approach? Yeah, it's just common sense, isn't it? Yeah, and there's nothing racist about saying that, because you won't see the lefties going out there and arguing that the Indians, they should be more diverse, or that Pakistan should be more diverse. They will argue for the sovereignty of those countries. They will argue for those countries to be able to keep their cultures intact. So what's wrong with us wanting to keep our culture intact? There's nothing wrong with that also. There's nothing wrong with wanting to keep our traditions or our culture. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with fighting for it either, and getting pissed off when we start to see ourselves being replaced in our own towns and cities. There's nothing wrong with that at all, standing up against that. As I said, I'm going to keep reiterating this all the way through the live stream for new people that are coming in here, right? My stance is zero immigration. No more immigration, full stop. Zero immigration. And if at a time there is decided we need immigration again, which I don't think we should always invest in our own people first for jobs and stuff like that. That's what I think. Right, I said this yesterday in the live stream. When it comes to jobs shortages, we should be investing in our own people. We shouldn't be relying on outside immigration. So if we get a job shortage in electronics, technology, doctors, anything like that, we should invest in our own people first. We should train our own people to do those jobs. And we should ask this question. We should say to ourselves, right, before we start bringing people in from other countries, have we got our own people that can do these jobs? Or can we train up a certain section of our society to do these jobs? That's what should be saying, because that's what other countries do. Immigration should only ever be a top-up. It should be a trickle, not a flood. And that's where we've gone wrong. And this is what I tried to explain yesterday. And this is for all those people. I want you, if you listen to this right now, point these people, if you see them in my comment sections, or don't understand my stance on things regarding immigration, point them to this live stream, please. Right? So this is my stance. Zero immigration. Nobody comes into the country. None of this one in, one out bollocks. because it doesn't work. We've got way too many people in the country. It's obvious that some need to go. We start with all the people in the prisons, get rid of all the foreign nationals in the prisons, deport them, goodbye. Every single person here that's claiming asylum, that hasn't claimed asylum already, gone. And then we should set up an organization to look into the people that have already claimed asylum within the last 5 years, and then turf them out of the country if they don't belong here. There are reasons why countries have certain criteria for emigrating to a country. One of them being you can support yourself, or that you've got vital skills that the country needs. We don't need some foreigners coming from foreign countries to fill up catering positions, to fill up hotel cleaning positions, because our own people can do that. That is taking jobs away from our working class that rely on those jobs. I said this yesterday. My industry, the security industry, has been absolutely decimated by uncontrolled immigration. Every single person you see doing retail security or in a security position is foreign now. That's because our government, our local councils, have been giving them out like confetti. They've been giving SIA licenses out like confetti and putting me and others out of work. That's what's been happening because of DEI policy as well. We go to the back of the queue whilst they go straight to the front. That's not fair in our own country. There is no country in the world that would accept discriminating against their own people in their own country. That's insane to me. So look at some of the comments. Migrants aren't needed for jobs. There won't be any soon. They are here for more sinister reasons. Yeah, but the thing is, they do come here. I'm not talking about the ones in the hotels. I'm talking about the people, the economic migrants, the actual migrants. Because as people have pointed out, you know, the illegal immigration, the people coming across in the boats, is a distraction for actual migration. The fact that the Labour Party and the Conservative Party have been non-stop rubber stamping immigration visas when they don't need to. I mean, why is it that native Brit nurses train up for years to get nursing jobs only to find out there are no jobs available because we've been importing nurses and doctors from other countries, so there's not a job for them after they've trained up to be nurses? Why is that allowed to happen? And it's all because of diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, isn't it? Right, let's have a look at this. Can you all see this on screen? I'll try and enlarge it on screen. I want to have a look at this first comment first. I'll try and enlarge it. There we go. There we go. It's a bit. Is that enlarged now? Let me see that. Don't know why that's done that for. Comments. Where are the comments gone? What the hell? Take it down a bit and see the comments. There we go. There we go. Right, that should be okay for people to. So this is the first comment. People like you are the reason movements are becoming more strict, because you get weak, centrist fence sitters. I won't describe myself. Right, is that an honest evaluation of me? Start off. I'll ask the chat. Is that an honest evaluation of me? That I'm a centrist fence sitter? Does that actually sound like me? Or is that just somebody that's never watched a video of mine, watched this video, or just read the title and just made an assumption about me? What do you all think? What do you all think to that? I'm asking like the chat, what do you think to that evaluation of me? Do you think that's a fair evaluation? If anybody watched my videos, I don't think they describe me as a centrist in any way, shape, or form. I don't think they would. I don't class myself as a centrist. People like you are the reason movements are becoming more strict, because you would get weak centrist fence sitters joining, and it just turns into internal debate. Why would they want to waste their own time just for a couple of weak votes from weak people who will throw them under the bus at a moment's notice? There's a good reason why people like you are being purged from nationalism. It's because all you do is poison the well. Okay. I noticed how I don't remove the comments. I'll leave them up. I did respond to it. I think it's down here somewhere. I did respond to his comment. Yes, I think I did. Here we go. I think this is it down the bottom down here. Right. So this was my response to it. Okay. So my solution is deport anybody that doesn't integrate into our society. Yeah, that's what I put. I don't know why. Is there actually a response to that somewhere? I think I might have to look at his response up here. I definitely responded to it. My response has been taken down. Oh no, it's here. Is that it? Yeah. Here we go. Right, this is what I responded. It was a voice one, so it's transcribed, voice reply. You know what? Until you actually put your life on the line and actually defend the country, maybe we should just sit down and let the adults talk. Hey, mate. I think that's a fairly well-balanced response to somebody that's made a baseless assumption about me, isn't it, really? They call anyone centrist who doesn't go along with their agenda of actual far-right socialism. And that's an interesting point, right? Because I'm not going to call them all National Socialists, because ethno-nationalism is on a scale like everything else. You've got the moderate ones, and then you've got the extremist ones that are right at the other end of the scale. And I think this guy is one of the extremist ones at the other end of the scale. I'm trying not to generalize them, because I have learned that ethno-nationalism is on a scale. You've got your people like Stephen Laws right at the upper end, along with this guy. And then you've got the ones that support the Austrian painter, right? And this is the interesting thing, because I found this out from my various interactions with them. Not all, but some of them actually side with the Muslims, because they hate a certain demographic too. They side with the Muslims. I've had this before. I've had this when I've had debates with them before. They side with the Muslims. And you're right, they are just lefties. They are just another version of the lefties. I wouldn't even call them far right, because the Austrian painter wasn't far right. He was actually a lefty. He was a socialist. And if you go and watch somebody called Tick History, he'll go through it more in depth than I can, about the whole construct of the ideology of National Socialism and that sort of thing. It's very interesting. But yeah, the clue is in the word National Socialism, isn't it? Socialists. Well, that's enough of that. That's for another day. Right. Well, he left a few more comments, but let's have a look at some more of the other comments that I got on here. Some of the more simple. I mean, you got another guy here, faceless, baseless comments. So I didn't even bother to respond to this one. When have you had to defend this country then? Yeah, it's like as if I have to justify myself to anybody. I don't. I'm not going to justify myself to anybody. Wanting your nation, which has existed for over 1,000 years, to survive and to pass that right on to our generations to follow is not extremist. I never said it was. I never said that stands with extremists. I actually agree with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And again, this is somebody who probably didn't watch the entire video or understood what I was saying within the video. No matter how you look at it, they need to leave or we lose our nation. It really is as simple as that. Yeah, I agree. But the people that need to leave are the people that won't integrate, are the people that are directly at this moment trying to destroy our culture. And we all know the group that's doing it. I can't say it on YouTube because I will be censored for it. That's the world we live in. We know which group I'm talking about. that we're gonna look at that demographic in a bit in this live stream. I've got a few videos on X we can look at. But yeah, I actually totally agree with that comment. I did say it here. I did say that I agree with that. Look, transcribe from voice. I would agree with you with your comments to a certain extent. But there are elements within the ethno-nationalist movement that are extremist, that do follow a certain Austrian painter. With that hell, I didn't even write that. It's just there. The AI transcribing it wrong. I didn't even say that. With that held extremist views, you know who I mean. And the ethno-nationalists sometimes disguise it as wanting for the best for the country, when really there's an ulterior motive in there. And I think that's an honest assessment as well. There is an element within the ethno-nationalist movement that takes advantage of it, because they sugarcoat it with wanting to protect the country under the guise of protecting the country, and really there's a deep underlying bitter core to them that, like I've said before, they support the Austrian painter. They infiltrate movements. They infiltrate everybody's movement, and they try to steer that movement in the direction they want it to go. They tried it down in Southampton when we had that illegal immigrant hotel march. They turned up. They wanted to take part. They were dressed up like Antifa with masks, with uniforms on. They looked like a bunch of absolute clowns. Do you really think a movement that is trying to win the hearts and minds of the normies that are asleep in this country want that as part of their movement? You know, if you're proud of this country and you're fighting for it, why do you need to hide your face? It's the same thing I ask of Antifa. If you're strong in your beliefs and you truly believe in what you're saying, why do you need to cover your face? I don't cover my face. I've got no need to do it. I stand by every word that I say, and I will defend every word that I say. But obviously, some people can't do that, can they? To look at some of the chat. That responds to exactly what Trump says concerning our non-integration of our migrants. And I agree with it. If you don't integrate, out you go. Because what you're doing here, I don't get that. I don't understand that whatsoever, right? You come to an English Christian country, right? Predominantly Christian. There are values. And then you don't like it. Then you try to change that culture to something that more resembles your own, from your own country you've just come from. Now, there's a word for that, and that's colonization. When you come to a country and trying to change its traditions and its values, that's colonization, isn't it? Exactly. Deport them all. Deport every single one of them. They've got no right to be here. No right at all. Zero right. We're full. We are full. Deport them all. Mass remigration. Some might see that as extremist, but is it really? But we're just clearing up the mess. These people should never have been allowed to enter the country in the first place. That was the mistake. Am I wrong? Do you think it's acceptable that London is unrecognizable now? I've been watching the videos from the 1900s. Right up to the 1970s, the 1980s, predominantly white English country. London, white. Everywhere you looked, you could see white people. And that's how it should be in England. It's our country. You know, we're the dominant race here. There's no way on earth that London should be a city where the whites are now minorities, where we are now a minority in our own capital city. I never thought I'd hear myself say that. The vast majority of nationalists only refer to the 90 to 95% native population goal. The YouTuber Lunda states this. Steve Laws is an ultra-nationalist. This is the tiny group of people. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think it should be higher than 95%, 90 to 95%. Should be higher than that. I think it should be at least 97%, 97% English. Thanks, buddy. It's not. It's literally not. If we have, and we know this from the stats, this isn't just me making stuff up. We know from the stats that the vast majority of these people contribute nothing to our country, nothing to our society. They are just here purely for our benefits. They're economically inactive. They don't provide anything. And any country in its right mind would just get rid of these people. They're a dead weight. They're a dead weight around the neck of this country. There are more people in need than these people. They shouldn't be here. It was a mistake to allow them in, and deporting them and remigrating these people is just rectifying that problem. Ethna is just a buzzword to create division. You're either nationalist or you're not. Exactly. I love my country. I love England. And I want England for the English. English should be the dominant majority race in this country. It's our land. We've been here for thousands of years. You know, people look to America. America's a different like setup to us, right? It's a totally different thing. America hasn't been around for thousands of years. It's at what? Has it been around for what? 250 years now? I don't call them Nazis. The ones you call Nazis are just frustrated young men. No, what happens is, right, you've got people of influence that, you're right, they take these angry young men in because they're really angry and frustrated because they've lost their identity. They've got no cultural identity. So there are certain individuals that take advantage of this and give them an identity because that's what they crave. Any culture that loses its identity is lost. It's rudderless. And that's exactly what the Marxists have been doing to us for decades. They've been destroying our culture, rewriting our history, making our younger generations feel guilty for being who they are. It's all part of the process. Yep. Totally agree. Our first, second, and third city are no longer white majority. Surely that has got to be wrong. I really hope we can immigrate most of them. It needs to happen. It's not acceptable for people to come to this country and set up enclaves of their own countries they've just come from in our country. They're basically setting up tiny colonies within our country. That should never have been allowed to happen. Not in a million years. The message should be integrate or leave. And that should be a condition on your immigration. Integrate into our society or out you go. What's your take on Oswald Mosley? He was a traitor. Oswald Mosley was a traitor. He was a British fascist. He was a quisling. That's what I think too, Oswald Mosley. Yes. And they are being strategically placed. Yes, they are. We pay for it. Yes, we do. Right. Let's have a look at some other stuff. We'll forget about the comments because that guy's irrelevant. He doesn't know me. He's irrelevant. Let's go and have a look at some other stuff. Right. Stop sharing that. Stop sharing that. Right. Let's have a look at some other stuff. So get it up on here. Right, we need to new tab. There we go. I've actually bookmarked loads of stuff to talk about. I was going to talk about some of this stuff in tomorrow's morning walk video, but I think we can do it here now. I've got a few things we can talk about. Morning walk video. I've been struggling a lot lately to talk about stuff. We'll talk about this guy in a bit. And this guy. And this guy. And this. Definitely this. And that. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. So we'll cover this one first. I think this is Scotland. So we'll listen to this. Let's pause that. I'll share the screen in a minute. Don't worry. Right. This is Scotland, but this is something that's been happening in Ireland as well. This happened in Ireland. I think it's been going for a few years. This. See if we're sharing. Are we sharing? Yeah, we are. Good. Right.
And here's another pitch. Our refugees, our asylum seekers, our new Scots are very much part of our communities.
Why haven't
and
I
I want
sound?
to see them become part of Police Scotland too. I want to see them take up jobs
Why is there no
as police
sound on that?
officers and police staff. I also, and this isn't in my script, I have to say, I also want to think
that is
at
weird.
some point one day, not perhaps just yet, but one day.
Why haven't I got any sound on that?
Speaking about the work that Police Scotland is doing as a Deputy Chief Constable.
Sounds up.
Come to this country as a new Scot, as a refugee, or an
that is
asylum
weird.
seeker. And here's another pitch.
Basically, I'll just read it out. There's no sound there for some reason. I don't know why. So all these dingy people will be arresting us, putting us in handcuffs and banging us up in police cells next. You couldn't make this nightmare up. So apparently they're... I'll just let it play. You can read it on screen.
And here's another pitch. Our refugees, our asylum seekers, our new Scots are very much part of our communities, and I want to see them become part of Police Scotland too. I want to see them.
So that's it. This is basically what they've been doing in Ireland for a long time. I don't know why there's no audio on that. I'm going to have to have a look at that. You can hear it. It was on. I don't know why can't I hear it then? That is strange. Could you hear the audio on that then? I wonder if they can manage the caution. Yeah, we all remember that guy. Remember that diversity, equity, and inclusion hire? That black guy that basically couldn't string a sentence together in English, and the guy had to step in and say it for him. Working fine. Why can't I hear that then? That's insane. Right, I'll just have to play them then. Yeah, so basically that's just the same thing that's been going on in Ireland with this recruiting refugees, well, illegal immigrants to be in the police force. I mean, that's what could possibly go wrong there, eh? Why can't I hear it then? That is strange. Right, okay. Right, so this might be a bit weird. No, I still can't hear that. So this one, let's click on it. We'll go into it and there we go. Right. We all saw this from last year, didn't we? Stop that. Bring it back. So this guy here, this police liaison officer, is telling these gang of Muslims to go and put their, as you can see here, the West Midlands UMP police admitted they banned whatever that is. During the Southport riots, a policeman told Pakistani thugs to take their weapons and store them in the mosque. And I'm told some have firearms. Now, would any of us been given that privilege? If any patriots had done that, would we have been given that privilege? or would have we been flung to the floor instantly, battered with batons and pepper sprayed, thrown into the back of the van, and, you know, would never see the light of day for what, you know, maybe 10 or 15 years? I'll play it. Obviously, you guys can hear it. I can't.
What I would do is just call them in the box, leave them here. So you don't give anybody any reason, have any interaction with the police, negative interaction. That's my belief. So if there's any weapons, get rid of them. You're not going to arrest anybody. I've been told that you know.
So this is what I'm talking about. Hey Annie, how you doing? Stoke-on-Trent, yeah, it was. I think what they mean was, Steve, it was going on whilst the Southport riots were happening, because the Southport incident triggered a lot of riots, didn't it, around the country? I think that's what it didn't take part in Southport. It took part in another part of the country, but as a direct result of what happened in Southport. I think that's what they were trying to say. But yeah, I need to find out why my sound isn't playing. It's strange. I've just plugged in the new microphone, and for some reason the audio is not working on here now. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. Let's have a look. Audio. Yeah, the speakers are working fine. Test. Yeah, they're playing all right, so that's fine. Echo cancellation. Reduce mic background noise, stereo audio. Right, okay. Speakers. Let's have a look. Speakers should be fine. I don't know why that's not working. I don't have a clue why that isn't working. Yeah, they went on a right rampage all over the country, and they weren't arrested. They weren't having their doors kicked in at dawn. They were just being left off the hook. And this is another thing as well, isn't it? What happens? What happens when they want to go and arrest some of these people? They have to go and speak to community leaders before they do it. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand why I can't hear it. It's weird. Oop. Get rid of that, actually. Move from the studio, remove that. Right. Yeah, I really don't get why I'm not hearing that. So look at the audio. No, it's all right. Audio seems to be fine. I don't understand. Weird. What's happened is, right, you guys are hearing the videos playing, but I'm not hearing them. I'm not hearing the playback. That is strange. Right. It's hard to, when I can't hear what they're saying, it's hard to comment on what they're saying. I don't know where to stop it. So it's annoying. Right, let's have a look at the other thing that I was going to look at on here. So I'll play it for you guys, but MP, I can't even pronounce that. I'll let you guys pronounce that name. But we'll call him Alfred. Alfred Mohammed calls on Islamists to seize power in the UK. We must take control of all of Birmingham. I think they've already done that already. And the entire West Midlands, all of Great Britain. This is an MP saying this. I'll play it and I'll let you listen to it. Why isn't it? Is it not sharing it now? What the hell is going on with this today? Right. I'm going to have to reshare this again now. So I've just had an update on the laptop, and it seems to have reset all the settings for some reason. I don't know why. I'll have to sort that out. Right. Technical difficulties again. It wouldn't be a live stream if there wasn't technical difficulties, would there? Let's try sharing that again. Share screen. Here we go. Right, we'll start from the beginning.
These events, these
I still can't hear it.
activities, this unity must grow and continue and take over not just parts of Birmingham, but the whole of Birmingham, the whole of the West Midlands.
That could be the reason why it's not working. I'll just go and look and see if it will work.
Grassroots
Might work with
democracy
those,
in
actually.
action. And we, our communities, have shown the establishment and the rest of the country that we will not be taken for granted, and we will win. The establishment know that if you let one person stand up to them and speak the truth to people about what power is doing to
Sorry,
them,
buddy.
then more people
Trying to do
will
things on the
stand
fly.
up, and there will come a point when we all stand up against oppression, against injustice, and against
Yeah, that's
corruption
working now,
in
yeah.
politics.
That's probably why I need to
Power
get
of
it.
solidarity.
I can hear
We
it
see the power of solidarity, the power of all of us
Thank you.
together. Individually, we may feel helpless, lonely, often frightened. Together, nothing
Great,
can
thanks, Tim.
stop us. No tyrant can rule us. No party, government, or dictator can demand from us subservience. Together, we are powerful. Remember that and take that message onto the streets of Birmingham and share it with every single person you know in this country and abroad.
Right, so would that be allowed? Would we be allowed to say anything like that, or would we be getting a knock at the door if we said something like that? Yeah, I just plugged in the I just plugged in some headphones. It started working, so that's great. I can listen to it now. Thanks for that, anyway, buddy. You're a godsend. Yeah. I didn't realise. It's like it's the first time using the microphone, so it's obviously that when I'm listening to stuff like that, I need to plug in the headphones now. Thank you for that. Brilliant. I've said this before. It won't be the English that kick things off. It won't be the English. It won't be the British that kick things off. It'll be something like this. They'll do something like they tried in Iran. They'll try and do a power grab. And that is what will kick off the civil war. They'll do something inadvertently that will kick off civil unrest in this country. Either that, or there'll be another mass killing, mass shooting, and that will ignite things. That's how I see things happening. It won't be us that start anything. We'll just be caught up in the middle of it and have to engage, if you know what I mean. We'd never be allowed to say that in our own country, no less. No. If you said something like that, in England right now, you get a knock at the door, 100%. I think many of us are. There's not a lot we can say online, and I advise everybody to keep the powder dry when talking online. But I think we all know and we're all thinking it. I think I'm totally ready to defend my family. Anything kicks off in this country, that's where I'm going to be. That's where the line is drawn, defending my family. And God help anybody that threatens my family. That's all I'll say on that. Finn, can I ask what white means to you? Like, qualify white, Celts, English, Anglo-Saxon, just Norman. White English, present white English. That's who I class as English. Obviously, look, we've got to look at this, right? You can't split us up into different groups. We're white English. What has happened over the many thousands of years, all those groups you've just talked about have cumulated into one group of people, the English. Those people that you talk about there are our ancestors. They created what we are now. That's how I look at it. Amount of immigrants in the country could be far higher than the government is telling us. Oh yeah, the one way you can check on that, and it probably is. There was a census done on how much was being bought at supermarkets, because that's a very good indication of how many people you have in the country, is how much food is being sold and how much consumption of food there actually is. I think another telling situation is that there are more people in the country than we know about, is the fact that we're actually running out of fresh water in some areas. That's a clear sign that our infrastructure is being overloaded. Apparently, we haven't built a new reservoir since the 90s. Right, got you, buddy. I've got you. Yeah, they did a survey of supermarkets, and they were estimating. I mean, they're saying there's what 70 million people in the UK. Estimates have it higher than that now. They have it in the probably like over 100 million people in the UK if you class all the people that we don't know about. And this is the thing. This is what doesn't get discussed as well, right? I know there are lots of people coming to the country via aeroplanes that we're not being told about. We had all this scandal about the Afghans being brought in here right under our noses into airports that shouldn't be here. I mean, legal immigration is far worse than illegal immigration. It really is. There are loads of people being rubber stamped that shouldn't be rubber stamped. They're just stamping them and just allowing them to come in, and it shouldn't be happening. And yeah, there are way more people in this country than there should be. When you look at the boats being escorted across the channel, for everyone that's being escorted off, you can probably guess there's probably 2 or 3 that go the same way, that are carrying the same amount of people that we don't know about. I've had reports of people seeing them land on southern beaches and just disappear into the population, never to be seen again. And like Steve was saying the other day, these are the people that have been seen to be carrying guns and weapons into the country, weapons caches. There's a reason why they go under the radar. These are probably the boats that are carrying the insurgents. These are the ones that are probably carrying Al Qaeda, ISIS fighters, and that sort of thing. Under the radar, straight into our society. Let's not forget that MI5 has lost, what is it, 39 to 40,000 people of interest. They just don't know where they are. Lost them completely. And there are over, was it 45,000 people on the terror watch list? And apparently, what is it, 30% of those people are actually, is it more than that? Is it 70%? 70% of the people on the terror watch list are actually Islamists. We need to stop immigration. We need to be like North. We don't really want to be like North Korea, do we? I agree with you about stopping the immigration, but we definitely don't need to be like North Korea. I get that. In the past, Irish Celts were not considered white. So would you consider all those white? Yeah, of course I would. Thanks. Would you expand on that? Who wouldn't be considered white? Why are you asking me all these questions? I think it's obvious. If you have white skin, you're white. Yeah? I think that's the standard. I think that's the standard clarification for if you're white. If you have white skin, then you're white. Yeah? We'll leave it at that. Yeah, 100%. The people that have just come, they've already got the mindset about who I am as a person, and a lot of them don't even watch the video. They don't watch it all the way through, or anything like that. They don't watch the video all the way through, and then they just make assumptions. They probably just read the title and just make an assumption about what I'm saying, and just make themselves look foolish. No human is white. Okay. We don't know what they're bringing in, Craig. I'm not going to go down the route of who's white and who isn't white. All right, that's not something I'm interested in doing. I think it's perfectly obvious who's white. I mean, if we're going to go on this situation, right, if you boil it down to white skin, then what happens when you go on holiday and you get a bit of a tan? Do you automatically stop being English for a couple of weeks until your skin turns back to its normal color? Is that how ludicrous we're going to go with this? Yeah. Let's just stop talking about skin color. It's not something I want to discuss or anything like that. Let's keep the comments sane and simple and not silly. Yeah. Haters have sad lives if they have nothing but yeah, they do. They do. Everybody gets haters. I just wanted to address that guy's comments because he brought up some interesting comments and some misconceptions about me as well, like about my stance on immigration. And I'm going to reiterate it here because we've got some new people in the live stream. You have to keep repeating yourself, as Tom told me to do. You have to keep repeating yourself through the stream because the audience at the start of the stream might not be the same as the audience at the end of the stream. So they might be missing out key points that I've said. So let's reiterate what my stance is on immigration. Complete ban on immigration. Total ban on immigration. Not for 10 years, not for 20 years. Total ban. Total ban until we get some sensible policies in place. And, you know, these are voted on by us in a referendum. Because our immigration system is a joke. And the people running it are a joke. So total ban on immigration. Our country is full. We don't need any more people in this country. We really don't. Our infrastructure is crumbling. We can't cope. It should just be cut off right now and say, no more people in. Done. No more people in. That's my stance on things. Regarding people who should be kicked out of the country, deported and remigrated. Right, let's cover this again. Right, so anybody that's not integrated, anybody that's come to this country and set up their own little colony within our towns and cities, and they expect special treatment because of that, they need to be turfed out of the country. You need to come to this country, accept our values, and integrate. If you haven't done those things, for the people that are already here, out you go. We kick you out. We don't want you. I'm talking about the people that don't like our culture, don't like our values, and are constantly bitching and moaning and wanting to change the way of life in our country. If they're one of these people, they need to leave. They need to leave and find a country that best suits their needs. Because why should we change for them? This is our country. We've lived here for thousands of years. We've built this culture up, our traditions, our culture, our way of doing things. Why should we change for a group of immigrants who are not satisfied with how this country is? If you don't like it, leave. That should be the message. That should be the message from people. That should be the message from our government. There's nothing racist or xenophobic about that, because that is what every other country in the world expects of people that come to their country to live there. Accept our values, accept our traditions, accept our culture, or just leave. That should be the message. Sorry, not hating. Wasn't trying to cause a controversy. I'm only interested in how the demographics looking out versus how much immigration has to be done. There'll be a lot. There'll need to be lots. We start off with obviously all those people in illegal immigrant hotels. They shouldn't be here. Gone. Get rid of all of them. Then we move to the prisons. We go to the prisons, right? All foreign nationals that shouldn't be here, all the Islamists that are running our prisons, deport them, gone. Yeah, take our prisons back. Then we start looking at the towns and cities that have been set up. We look at the councils. We look at how the councils are run, right? The Islamist mayors that have basically set up and got into power and then set up their own little colonies with places like Birmingham, Bradford, Leicestershire, anywhere else, Manchester, anywhere there are these enclaves that refuse to integrate and have set up their own little bubble of their own culture from the countries they've come from and are expecting special treatment. Deport them all, get rid of them, re-immigrate them, gone. out of the country. We don't want you. That's how we start. That's how we do. And that will get rid of a great swath of these people. Then you move on to people that have been given citizenship that don't really deserve it. The ones that have come here that can't sustain themselves, that are just laying about claiming benefits and not doing anything, that are economically inactive, gone out of the country. Get rid of them. Again, that's another few million gone out of the country. Yeah, that's where we start. That's how we start. And there is nothing wrong in that. Fair enough, but I'm watching the whole chat now. This is a good question, right? Why come in the first place if you don't want to integrate? Or is it because they come for what it is, they come for our benefits. They come for what they can get out of the system, right? They'll get benefits. Most of them will be claiming fraudulently. And what they'll do, they'll be sending money out of the country to their native countries. A lot of these people, so-called refugees and immigrants, go back to their home countries for holidays. Why? We should be asking the question, why? Why is that happening? If you go home for a holiday and you're claiming asylum here, then you don't come back. We cancel your visa. We cancel your claim for asylum. You stay where you are. Simple as that. Look, everyone, there are people who would question my loyalty, but unlike most of you, I've done the loyal oath 4 times. So don't question my loyalty. Exactly, Steve, right? This is it. This is what I was trying to get over to that person there. Steve has served his country. He's an ex-soldier, ex-police officer. He served this country. So don't question him whether he's a patriot or not. Don't question me if I'm a patriot or not. We served our dues. All right? We're not going to take being criticised about our patriotism or our loyalty or our love of this country from people who have never served or never offered up to defend this country. That's why I told that gentleman in the chat to shut up and sit down and let the adults talk. Yeah, don't ever question Steve. We've got nothing to prove to anybody. Nobody has. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I don't look for your validation for my life or for what I do. I don't, you know, I have loyal people in the chat and there's people I love in the chat, but I don't look for people's validation for what I do. I never will. I am who I am. That's it. Never apologize for being who you are. Stop sharing that now. Yeah. Did you see that when they were complaining about the war in Ukraine, and yet Zelensky's built this new ski resort in Ukraine? It's like, what is going on? Yep, 80% of Somalis are in council homes. That says it all, doesn't it? We've got kids. We've got native British English kids all over the union, right? All struggling to get on the housing ladder, and yet we're giving houses to people who have never paid into the system, who shouldn't be here. They're taking houses. They're taking resources off of people that have paid in for all their lives. And when I say that, because it's right, if you've got parents that have paid into the system all their lives, their tax money, then their kids should be guaranteed social housing because they've already paid in. And then when their kids start working, they'll pay into the system too. We shouldn't be giving our houses to people that have never paid into the system. And look at this Starmer thing. Look at what Starmer is doing, right, with regards to this new build thing. I don't know how he's going to do it because this was pointed out in the chat as well in one of my videos, that the building industry is in absolute wreck. It's in absolute disarray. It's collapsing. And yet Starmer wants the building industry to start building thousands of homes for these illegals that are in the hotels. That's what he's going to do with them. He's not going to deport them. He's going to build houses for them. That's what he's going to do. Do you think that's right? That we pay in all our lives, our kids can't get on the property ladder, but this government is going to give away free council homes, free new builds to people who have never paid into the system. It's a massive FU and a finger to the native Brits and English, isn't it? That 100%. Yes, mate, I'm a small hat person, but it doesn't mean I'm not a Brit. Would you like me to go through how many of my family have been killed serving the crown? There you go. Yeah, until it's not convenient anymore. Right, once all the situation is over, once they've laundered all the money they can launder through Ukraine, they're not going to leave a loose end like Zelensky knocking about, not some cokehead. So what they're going to do is, once everything wraps up in Ukraine, and because the peace deal is going to be signed, it will be signed eventually. And what you'll see is probably, 6 or 7 months after the peace deal has been signed, Zelensky will have to step down as leader of Ukraine. And then mysteriously, at some point, he'll be found, either have a car accident or he'll be found overdosed on coke in a bath in some brothel somewhere. That's what you'll find. They're not going to leave Zelensky as a loose end. They're going to have to off that guy because it is too much of a liability. One day, no home for the British people and no job too. Yep. Oh, go off. They shot Zelensky's opposition last year. Yeah, people forget about that. They forget that Zelensky put all his opposition into prison. Even arrested, he shut down a TV station and they all got arrested and put in prison as well. There's no free press in Ukraine. They say it's a sovereign country, it's a democracy. It's nothing of the sort. It's a dictatorship. Democracies don't go around press ganging their people into the military to put them on the front line with a life expectancy of 4 hours. That's not something a democracy does, is it? And 6 or 7 months, the war will move to another area. Yeah, it will. Enjoy your morning walks, Vin. If it lifts my spirits, keep up the great work. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Sooner or later, the tipping point will be reached when the UK taxes will not be enough to keep the NHS, public services, welfare benefits, and the hotel. Well, we're already on shaky ground. From what I've gathered, if we're not already bankrupt, we're very close to it. The IMF keeps issuing warnings about, we might need a bailout very soon. And once that happens, there'll be no bailout, by the way, because as me and Steve have explained before, the people that give a bailout are the members of the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. They all pay into it. We pay into it. We're members of it. We pay into it. And all the member countries of that are all in the same boat as us. They won't be able to afford to pay into it to bail out the UK. So we're going to have to default on a lot of our loans, a lot of our debt. And when that happens, the country will collapse. The economy will collapse. We will get hyperinflation here. We'll see a similar sort of thing that's been happening in Venezuela, where they went into hyperinflation, where a loaf of bread costs you £500 or a bottle of water is 50 quid. That's what will happen. And when that happens, there's no more benefits being paid. There's no more money left. So people won't be able to pay their rent. They won't be able to pay their energy bills. Because there's a lot of people, it's not just people that are unemployed that get benefits. There's a lot of people that actually work. I think it's about 90% of people getting benefits actually work. And they use it to top up their wages. So when that goes, all those people suddenly be found short. They'll probably, they can't pay the rent, can't pay their bills. Total collapse of the country, descend into lawlessness. Police don't get paid. Fire service don't get paid. That's what happens. Whole system collapses. We're very, very close to it. They've been, and it's not, you can't just blame the Starmer regime because they inherited it. They inherited it from the Tories, who inherited it from the last Tory government, and then from Labour. It's just carried on and carried on. We're in this downward spiral. I think we've got to a point now, Steve could probably clarify this. We've got to a point in this country now where we can't even pay off the interest of the debt that we owe, let alone the debt itself. It's huge. I'm not sure what the actual amount is, but it's huge. So you can imagine if the economy collapses and we've got no more money anymore, we're in real trouble. Yeah, it's just been a constant shit show for decades. Constantly, no change, just the same shit, different day, isn't it, with them? Unfortunately. Looking for my phone, actually. Where's my phone? I'll be back in a minute, guys. I'm just looking for something on here. Not where it is, but I've done with that. Oh, here it is. I hope Vladimir Putin is able to get Ukraine and make it part of Russia. I don't think he's going to take the whole of Ukraine. I think he's just going to take the Russian-speaking parts of Ukraine. But if they force his hand, he'll just go to Kiev and take the whole lot. So look, Visby, I've mentioned it. We are at 105% on debt versus income. Wow. That's not sustainable at all, is it? It's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's just when now, isn't it? It's when the economy collapses. And we're not talking about a recession or something like what happened when we had the credit crunch, when the banks went bust. Like people have said to me, it will only take a run on the banks, or something else, and where we're screwed. Absolutely screwed in this country. It's going to be a disaster, unfortunately. Right. See what these comments. If that really is the case, where is the 8 million a day coming from? They're printing money. That's where they're getting it from. They're printing money like it's going out of fashion. They're taking the majority of it from your wages. They're increasing. They'll probably get it from council tax, because people think that council tax just pays for your local area. It doesn't. All the council tax is gathered and goes into a national pot of council tax that the government controls. So they'll just take it out of that. That's what they'll do. What they do is council tax is collected by the government, and then the council tax is then given back to each council as an individual budget that they get every year. Not a lot of people realise that. Just having a look at this. Just have a look at a few of the comments. When we caps financially, that's when they buy everything from us to rent back to us, and we end up on UBI. Exactly. 100%. That's what they're doing it for. They want to collapse the economy because they want to build back from the ashes their new technocratic communism that they want to implement, that the World Economic Forum is pushing. That's what they want to do it for. So I'm just having a look at this. Right. Get rid of flat currency. Not even printing at this point, just added a zero to the debt, yeah. I mean, a lot of this stems from the scamdemic. A lot of the debt comes from that because basically we made the country inactive for how many years? Businesses were on furlough, they weren't producing. Revenue was down. I want my council tax back. Lazy bin men didn't empty my bin, but emptied everyone else's in the street. Yeah, they're rubbish. Bin men are rubbish. I'm sorry if there's any bin men in the chat, but they're rubbish. The amount of times that I have to go and fetch my bin back. I remember the days, right, in the 80s and 90s when you didn't have to leave your bin on your front garden. The bin men would come into your garden and actually take your bin to the lorry. You didn't have to put it out, mainly because there was only one. There was only one bin. The majority of all this recycled stuff, you put your recycled stuff out, you put your blue bin out and your green bin or whatever, it all goes to the same place. It all goes into landfill. The majority of it. Yeah, they sort it. They sort some of the plastic and stuff, but the stuff they can't use goes straight to the landfill. They may as well just have one bin and just stick it all in landfill, really. Look at the chat. That fits, but I don't want to drive one. Yeah, I've just read that one. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the link into the chat. Anybody wants to come in, they can do. So you can drop the link in the chat. I'm going to come in, you can do. There we go, links. Anybody wants to come in for a chat, you can do. Quite welcome to do so. I'm only looking for people that haven't been in before. I want to try and encourage some new people to come in and have a chat. So if you pop in and you've been in before and I don't select you, don't think it's personal, it's not personal. I'm just trying to encourage a wide variety of people and opinions to come and have a chat, that's all. So I'm trying to sort something out on my phone as well. I apologise, I should have done this earlier, but I didn't. Sorry about this. That council tax will go up again from April. Yeah, apparently, you know, when Reform said they were going to reduce council tax. Well, apparently there's been a bit of a stink because apparently some Reform councils are actually going to increase council tax from April to the maximum they can do so. So they're no different to the Tories or Labour at this point in that regard, are they? I don't want to talk about party politics. I'm probably thinking there may be some people in the chat that support Reform, but I think you're in for a massive disappointment. My issue is with the leadership of Reform. I agree with the policies. It's just the leadership of Reform. Zahir Youssef, Nigel Farage, Richard Tice. I just don't think they're strong enough to do the things that need to be done. That's how I think on things. It shows how all this packaging is a farce too. We used to have one bin for a family of, yeah, totally. It's rubbish. I've had friends that have worked at recycling plants and I've asked them, I said, what exactly do they do with the stuff that they can't use? And they said straight to the landfill. And they said they only really take 5% of the rubbish out that they can use. A lot of it they can't use. So it all just goes to landfill. It's just a big joke. I'm here. I'm just looking at the chat. Bring back the core blimey trousers. Right, that's that done. Right, where are we? So I'll drop the link in the chat again. There we go. Anybody wants to come in and have a chat, you are quite welcome to do so. Any ethno-nationalists in the chat? Anybody watching this that's an ethno-nationalist? Feel free to come in and have a chat and make your case. As long as you don't start talking about the Austrian painter or 1930s Germany, we're fine. I don't know what to do about the protest in February in Manchester regarding Britain First. I'm going to cover it. Hello. Hello. If you don't talk, I'm just going to remove you. Right. Please, if you're going to come in and have a chat, just talk straight away. Have your camera on so I can see who you are. If you don't do that, then I'm just going to assume you're going to be a bad faith actor and I'll just kick you. I mean, prime example there. You know, if you're going to come in and chat, have your microphone ready, have your camera ready beforehand. Because if I ask you to come in and you just stay silent, then what's the point? What do you know about the English Constitution and common law way of identifying Englishness? Well, I don't know much about it, so why don't you come in and explain it? That'd be interesting. I've been asked several times to get, what is it? What's his name now? English Constitution Party. Graham Moore. I've been asked to try and get him to come into the live stream and have a chat. And I have sent him messages, but I've had no response. It's probably because I'm only a small channel, so that could be a reason why he's not interested in chatting. But it will be interesting to hear from him. No friend of Reform Party, but realistically, it was inevitable that council tax was going to go up. They have too many statutory services to provide with less and less money every year. Yeah. So I'll post the link in the chat again. Anyone wants to come in, you can do so. Like I said, though, please be ready. Have your camera on so I can see it's actually a person behind it. If you're anonymous, then obviously what I'll do is just show your face before I bring you into the studio, and then you can turn your camera off if you don't want to be seen live. That's fine, Buzz it. That's fine, mate. Maybe some other time then, yeah. I have been looking into it. Like I said, I'm not one of these sort of people, though. I'm only just reading about it, so I'm not really want to talk about it until I've read up on it properly, so I know the ins and outs of it. If you know what I mean. Hello, how you doing, mate? How you doing? I'll drop the link again. Anybody wants to come in, have a chat, you can do so. I'll look on X. If we've got something on X we can look at. Just something that Starmer has said that's stupid. Let's have a look on here. There's like, yeah. No, there's not a lot going off on there. It's just the usual crap that I'm not interested in. I don't talk about anything about trans issues or anything like that on here because I think it's pointless. I'm not interested in that side of things. What's the best way to deal with handling fear? That's a good question. I think it's different for everybody, that. How do you handle fear? For me, it was training. Training made me handle my fear. Anybody that says they're not scared and they're a soldier, don't trust them, because everybody's scared. Literally everybody's scared. You just cope with it in different ways. Most people cope with it with dark humor. I've noticed that. That's what I noticed anyway when I was out in Iraq. It was dark humor that got us through a lot of stuff. But yeah, it was mainly training. You just rely on your training. For anything else, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say to people regarding that. I think it's something that you have to deal with yourself, because fear is personal to you. But somebody else might be scared. Somebody else might not be. So it's very personal. Generally, about fear is don't let it conquer you. Try and control it. People forget this, right? And I know this is a cliche, but courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing what's needed to be done in the face of fear and with fear present. That's courage. Common law has mostly been superseded. I think Lotus Eaters covered it, and Andy the Gabby Cabby does a lot too. For anyone interested, yeah, I've seen that as well, yeah. Yes, Andy Gabby Cabby mentioned common law and our right to travel when addressing the council that wants to trash all the older taxis. They're coming after them. They're coming after all small businesses, aren't they? That's what they're doing. Let's not forget, in April, they're bringing in the pay for mile, which is going to kill a lot of taxi services. It's going to push prices up on taxi services, and a lot of taxi drivers are going to be put out of business. It's like they're coming after the farmers. They're coming after anybody that is self-sustaining, that can sustain themselves on their own. That's why it's so hard to be self-employed in this country. It is. It's so hard. It's so hard to start a business up. Confidence helps with fear. Yeah, it does. Brief. 12 locals Englishmen would have to swear under an oath to the ancestry of a dead man. I hate this government so much. I think a lot of people do. Vinny, my mic isn't set up. Also, no cam. But one day I will have a chat. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, great. If a guy, say 18, is in the army in World War I or II, and is adamant about it and asks what physical exercises he should do so, what would you say? Just posting the link again if everybody wants to go in for a chat. Time are we on? We're on 1 hour 29, so if everyone wants to come in, I'm going to call it a night on this one. They're coming after anything that traditionally English. Don't forget Napoleon called us a nation of shopkeepers. They have ripped the fabric of our country inch by inch. Yes, they have. Keir Job is bankrupt the country so BlackRock can take over. Yeah. The first thing you've got to walk about 4 miles each morning and do pull-ups. Right, guys, nobody's coming in. We had one person come in, but I think that was just a troll. So I just missed this. I will catch up. Thank you, Adele. For those who have just come in, if you just come in, I'll just reiterate what I said at the beginning of the stream. It's basically, I was just addressing, it's just been a general chat again, really. But I wanted to clarify something. So my stance on immigration is that I think there should be no immigration at all. It needs to be completely stopped, not suspended, not put on hold for X amount of years, just completely stopped. That's my stance on immigration. As for those that should be deported, anybody that doesn't integrate into our society should be deported. If you don't like our traditions, if you don't like our values, if you don't like the way we do things in this country or the way that we act, then you should just leave. You should leave and find a country that best suits your needs. We shouldn't have to change for you or change our traditions to change our way of life or our culture to suit people who come to this country and want to change this country to how they live. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be appeasing. We shouldn't be pandering to anybody at that. And that is something that every country in the world aspires to. That's the baseline of every country, isn't it? That's my stance on things. Anyway, just to reiterate that for people that have just come. I'll just read a few more of the comments. The reason he was dead, by the way, is because all dead men were considered Norman elite, and the local English would be fined unless they could prove he was English. Yeah, okay. Right, guys, that's it. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to call this a night on this live stream. Thanks for all coming along. It's been awesome. Again, just testing out the new microphone as well. That seems to be going okay. So on that note, thanks for all coming along. I shall see you all in the morning walk video tomorrow. Don't forget to watch that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your way out, please, if you like the content. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming on, guys. Great talking to you all again. Great chatting to you all again. So this is Vindicator. Sign off. Have a good night.